Every choice is a vote for who you're becoming. Think about that for a moment. Each decision you make today is not just about today. It's shaping the person you will wake up as tomorrow. You are not simply living. You are casting votes with your action. What time you wake up, how you treat people, how you spend your free hours, whether you save or waste, whether you quit or finish, all of it is building your future self piece by piece. The truth is, you already know the version of yourself you admire, the one you want to be proud of. But you don't reach that person by chance. You reach them by choosing differently today. If you choose discipline, you're voting for strength. If you choose excuses, you're voting for weakness. The tally never stops. So ask yourself, when the day ends, who did you vote for? The person you admire or the one you regret? Stay with me, because this will decide your future. Number 1, take control and decide the person you become. That is one of the most important truths you will ever face in your life. Every single day you are making decisions, and those decisions are not random. They are shaping you into someone. The problem is most people don't recognize that fact. They live as if their choices are temporary, as if they do not matter, as if they can just drift and things will still somehow work out. But the reality is this: your choices are not neutral. Every choice moves you forward or holds you back. Every choice builds your character or weakens it. Every choice is a step toward the person you want to be, or a step toward the person you fear becoming. And no one can make those choices for you. That responsibility is yours. Think about the feeling you have when you wake up in the morning. That small decision of whether you stay in bed or whether you get up on time. It may seem unimportant, but it is a vote. It is your choice, telling your mind and body who is in charge. If you give in to the comfort of the bed, you are voting for weakness. If you get up when you said you would, you are voting for discipline. And the more votes you cast in one direction, the stronger that part of you becomes. That is the psychology of building yourself. You can't escape it. You can't avoid it. You can only decide which person you are building. You have to take control, because life is constantly testing you. When you come home tired after work, do you decide to watch television for 3 hours? Or do you spend an hour improving your skills? That is not just passing time. That is shaping your future. When you are angry with someone, do you decide to control your words? Or do you decide to explode and regret it later? That is not just a reaction. That is shaping your character. These choices add up, day after day, until they create the person you see in the mirror. And if you don't like who you are seeing, it's not fate, it's not luck, it's your choices. Taking control means you no longer allow your feelings to run your life. Feelings are temporary, but choices are permanent. The easy road is always tempting. Eat whatever you want, skip the workout, waste time online, avoid responsibility, leave things unfinished, and tell yourself tomorrow will be better. But tomorrow is just another today. If you want tomorrow to be different, you have to decide today to act differently. That's where control comes in. Control is not about being harsh or rigid. It is about being honest with yourself. Do you want a better body, a sharper mind, stronger relationships, more confidence? Then decide today to become the person who earns those things. Stop living by chance and start living by choice. Look around you. Think about the people you admire, the men and women who are respected, the ones who carry themselves with strength and dignity. They did not arrive there by accident. They made decisions that other people were unwilling to make. They woke up early when others slept in. They practiced discipline when others made excuses. They chose honesty when lying was easier. They worked when others complained. Their lives are the proof that choice builds identity. That is why you cannot blame your background, your parents, the economy, or even your mistake. Your power is in your daily decisions. And the moment you take control, you begin to design the person you will become. You must also understand that deciding the person you become is not a one-time event. It is a process of constant reinforcement. If you want to become strong, you don't decide once and then forget about it. You decide every day, in every moment where strength is required. You cast that vote again and again, until it becomes who you are. If you want to become honest, you viewed in every conversation, every business deal, every interaction. That is how honesty becomes your identity. The decision must be repeated until it becomes natural. Taking control also requires awareness. Many people sabotage themselves because they don't stop to ask why they are making the choices they make. They eat junk food when stressed, not realizing they are voting against their health. They scroll endlessly on their phones, not realizing they are voting against their productivity. They speak harshly in anger, not realizing they are voting against their own peace. You need awareness because awareness brings responsibility. Once you know your choices are shaping you, you can no longer hide behind excuses. You face yourself honestly and decide, who am I voting for today? When you truly accept this, you begin to see the weight of every small action. Drinking a glass of water instead of soda may seem minor, but it is a vote for health. Reading a book for 30 minutes instead of wasting that time is a vote for intelligence. Saving a small amount of money instead of spending it carelessly is a vote for independence. Apologizing when you are wrong is a vote for humility. Standing up for force when you feel small is a vote for confidence. It is not about perfection. You don't need to win every vote, but you must win the majority. If most of your choices line up with the person you want to become, then your future is secure. The danger is when you ignore this truth and live as if your choices do not matter. That is how people lose their direction. They eat poorly, skip opportunities, avoid responsibility, surround themselves with negative people, and then wonder why life feels heavy and empty. They never connected the dots. They never realized they were building the wrong person with their own hands. But you are not them. You are aware now. You know that each choice carries power. That knowledge is a responsibility, but it is also a gift, because it means you are not trapped. You can change. You can decide differently starting right now. Taking control means you stop being passive. If you want better health, decide to cook a healthy meal tonight. If you want more energy, decide to sleep on time. If you want stronger relationships, decide to listen more. If you want to earn more money, decide to learn a skill. If you want more respect, decide to act with integrity. These are not small tasks. They are votes. And when the votes add up, you become someone new. You become the person you always wanted to be. Not because of luck, but because of choice. Now, there is one more truth you must face. Every time you decide not to take control, you are still making a choice. Doing nothing is still voting. Avoiding responsibility is still shaping you. Postponing action is still building your future. Not deciding is deciding. That is why so many people drift into lives they never wanted. They thought postponing meant safety, but it was still shaping them. So the question is not whether you are making choices. The question is whether those choices are aligned with the person you want to become. If you want to respect yourself, you must decide in small moments when no one is watching, because character is built privately long before it is revealed publicly. Take control of your daily routines, your money, your words, your reactions, your energy. Each of these areas is under your command. You may not control the weather, the economy, or the decisions of other people, but you control your response, and that response is a choice. Oh, take control today. Don't wait until next week. Don't wait until things are perfect. Decide who you want to be, and then prove it with every choice you make. Become someone who chooses strength over weakness, growth over stagnation, action over delay, respect over disrespect. Decide that your life will not be wasted in careless habits and empty distraction. Decide that every day you will cast votes for the person you want to see in the mirror 5 years from now. The truth is, you are always becoming someone. The only question is whether that someone is designed by you or by your habit. If you are not satisfied with where you are, the power is still in your hands. No matter how many wrong votes you cast yesterday, today is a new ballot. Today you decide again. And if you keep deciding, if you keep choosing wisely, the person you want to become will no longer be a dream. It will be your reality. Take control and decide the person you become. Not tomorrow, not someday, today. This is your life. This is your time. And the votes you cast today will build the person you live with for the rest of your life. Make them count. Number 2, decide how you spend free time. and define your future self. This is one of the most overlooked truths in life. People often underestimate the impact of those hours when no one is telling them what to do. Work hours are structured. Family responsibilities are expected, but free time is open. That freedom is powerful. What you do when no one is directing you is where you reveal what matters most to you. And the way you use those hours is not just a way to pass the day. It is how you are shaping your identity and your future. Think about it. Every day gives you moments that belong entirely to you. Maybe it's the evening after work. Maybe it's a weekend afternoon. Maybe it's the hours before bed. What you choose in those hours is silently writing your story. Do you use them to learn, to strengthen your body, to plan your goals, to deepen your relationships? Or do you lose them to distractions that leave you with nothing? These are not just casual choices. They are investments or debt. They are building the version of yourself you will meet 5 years from now. The truth is, most people waste their free time. They convince themselves it doesn't matter, that it's just a break, that it's harmless. But those little decisions add up. An hour wasted every evening becomes 30 hours a month. 30 hours a month is 360 hours a year. That is 9 full working weeks of your life. Imagine what kind of person you would become if you spent those hours learning, building, improving. Now imagine who you become if you spend them doing nothing. That difference is enormous. When you use your free time without purpose, you may not notice the consequences immediately. That is why it is so dangerous. Time wasted feels comfortable in the moment. Watching television for hours feels easy. Scrolling endlessly on your phone feels entertaining. But in those same hours, you could be building yourself. You could be developing a skill that increases your value. You could be exercising, improving your health, extending your energy. You could be reading, expanding your mind, changing how you see the world. You could be planning your finances, setting up a future of independence. The choice is always there. One path leads to a stronger self, the other to regret. Free time is the most honest reflection of your priorities. Anyone can act productive when someone is watching. At work, you are expected to deliver. In front of others, you want to look disciplined. But in free time, no one is watching. No one is demanding. No one is pressuring. That is when the truth appears. That is when you see whether you are serious about growth or just pretending. If you choose learning when no one requires it, you are proving to yourself that you care about your future. If you exercise when you could relax, you are proving that health matters to you. If you spend time building your dreams instead of numbing yourself with entertainment, you are proving that you are not waiting for life to change. You are creating the nage. Many people think free time is meant for escape. They believe the day is for responsibility and the night is for avoiding it. That is why their lives never change. They build a habit of escaping reality instead of facing it. The truth is that free time is the most valuable resource you have because it belongs to you completely. No boss owns it. No one assigns it. It is yours. And what you do with what is yours reveals what you are becoming. If you want to build confidence, spend free time doing what improves your self-worth. Learn something new and finish it. Work on a project and see it. Push your body with exercise and feel the strength grow. Each time you do this, you gain proof that you can rely on yourself. That proof builds confidence. If you waste the time, you weaken your belief in yourself. You may not admit it out loud, but deep down you know when you are living below your potential. That knowledge eats away at you. It lowers your energy and creates dissatisfaction. The choices you make in free time also decide the opportunities you will have in the future. If you spend those hours building skills, you make yourself valuable. The job market will notice. People around you will notice. Your income will float it. If you use those hours recklessly, you will have nothing new to offer. Opportunities will pass you by because you didn't prepare. And when you look back, you will realize it wasn't bad luck. It was how you spent your hours. Your free time also defines your relationships. If you invested in the people who matter, those connections deepen. If you ignore them, they weaken. Calling your parents, spending real time with your children, showing genuine attention to your partner, supporting your friends. These choices are not just about today. They shape the trust and love that will carry you for a lifetime. If you instead choose shallow entertainment, you are voting against those bonds. Over the years, you will feel the distance grow, and you will realize it was built by neglect. This is not about eliminating all relaxation. Rest has its place. Your body and mind need recovery. But there is a difference between rest and waste. Rest leaves you feeling restored. Waste leaves you feeling empty. Rest makes you stronger for tomorrow. Waste steals from tomorrow. When you finish a good book, you feel satisfied. When you exercise, you feel alive. When you have a real conversation, you feel connected. That is rest with meaning. But hours of meaningless scrolling or constant distraction leave you feeling nothing. The difference is clear if you pay attention. Free time is also the place where your habits are formed. Every small decision compounds. If you spend your evenings learning a language, after a year you will speak it. If you spend them playing video games endlessly, after a year you will only be better at escaping. If you spend them investing in your health, you will feel years younger. If you spend them in laziness, you will age faster. These are not exaggerated vengeance. They are the natural consequences of choice. When you look at people who transformed their lives, one common factor is always how they used their free time. They may have worked the same hours as everyone else, but when the day ended, they invested those remaining hours building something greater. That is how businesses were started. That is how skills were mastered. That is how futures were created. They took what was available to everyone and used it in a way that most people refuse to. That is why their results are uncommon. The question you must ask yourself is simple. What do you want your future self to thank you for? Do you want to thank yourself for learning, for improving, for preparing, or do you want to look back with regret, realizing you had the time and wasted it? Because one day you will meet the person you are building now. You will live with the consequences of these hours. That is guaranteed. So make the decision. Decide how you spend your free time and define your future self. Don't treat those hours as worthless. They are the building blocks of your destiny. Each evening, ask yourself, will this choice make me stronger? Will this choice make me wise? Will this choice make me more valuable? If the answer is no, then be honest and change it, because your future self is watching, and every choice you make now is shaping the person you are becoming. The truth is, you already know where you are wasting time. You already feel the guilt when you scroll too long, or when you put off what you said you would do. That feeling is your warning sign. Don't ignore it. Use it. Let it push you to decide differently. Trade one wasted hour for one invested hour, and watch how it changes you. Your free time is the real test of your character. Anyone can perform under pressure. Anyone can follow orders. But the strongest people are the ones who use their freedom to build something meaningful. Be one of those people. Don't escape life in those hours. Build your life in those hours. Decide now. Spend your free time with tension. Learn, grow, connect, prepare, and strengthen. Those hours will define you. They will decide whether you live with regret or with pride. They will shape the future self you will one day meet. Make sure it is someone you are proud to live with. Number 3. Pick who you talk with and decide your mindset daily. This principle will shape your life more than most people ever realize. Every conversation you have, every word you listen to, every idea you allow into your mind leaves a mark. The people you interact with are not neutral. They either lift you up or pull you down. They either make you stronger or weaken you. They either expand your vision or shrink it. And if you are not careful, you will let the wrong voices set the tone for your entire life. Your mindset is fragile in the beginning of every day. When you wake up, your mind is fresh. It's like a blank page waiting for direction. Who you talk to, who you listen to, and the tone of those conversations will decide the quality of that page. If the first voice you hear in the morning is full of negativity, you carry that energy with you. If you surround yourself with people who only complain, criticize, or spread fear, your own thoughts start to reflect that. On the other hand, if you interact with people who speak with confidence, hope, and solutions, you begin to believe more in yourself and in your future. Think about the last time you walked away from a conversation feeling energized. Maybe it was with a friend who encouraged you, or a mentor who challenged you to do better. Notice how it changed your outlook for the rest of the day. That is the power of the right voice. Now think about the opposite. Remember a time when you left a conversation feeling smaller, less confident, even discouraged? That energy did not come from nowhere. It came from the influence of the person you chose to listen to. That is why you cannot take conversations lightly. Words build or destroy. And every time you pick who you talk with, you are deciding the state of your own mind. You need to ask yourself, who are the people in your circle? Do they challenge you to grow? Do they remind you of your goals? Do they inspire you to take responsibility for your life? Or do they waste your time with gossip, negativity, and empty talk? Because every minute you spend with them is shaping your thinking. And your thinking shapes your decisions. Your decisions shape your results. If you surround yourself with negative influences, it is almost impossible to keep a strong mindset. That is why you must be deliberate. You must guard your time and protect your mind as if your future depends on it. Because it does. Some people argue that they cannot control who is around them. Maybe it is coworkers, family members, or neighbors. And that may be true. You can't always control who exists in your environment. But you can control how much access they get to your attention. You can control how long you stay in their presence. You can control whether their words enter your inner world or whether you filter them out. The most successful people are ruthless about this. They do not allow repeated exposure to voices that drain them. They keep their energy reserved for people who strengthen them. You also need to realize that your own voice counts. Who you talk with is not only external, it is also the way you speak to yourself. If your inner voice is constantly critical, if you call yourself lazy, worthless, or incapable, then you are building the wrong mindset before the day even begins. You cannot expect confidence if you insult yourself every morning. Instead, you must deliberately replace that language. Speak to yourself with truth. Tell yourself you are capable. Tell yourself you can improve. Tell yourself you are disciplined enough to follow through. These words may feel simple, but they are planting seeds in your subconscious. Over time, those seeds grow into confidence, determination, and strength. Pick carefully who you call, who you text, and who you meet during the day. Each of these small interactions can either give you momentum or steal it. A 10-minute conversation with the wrong person can ruin your focus for hours. A 10-minute conversation with the right person can inspire you to take action immediately. That is how sensitive the mind is to influence. Too many people think they are strong enough to resist negativity. But the truth is, no one is immune. If you swim in dirty water, you come out dirty. If you breathe in smoke all day, your lungs are not the same. The same is true with words. They enter you whether you realize it or not. That is why selection is crucial. Imagine if each day you made it a rule to talk to at least one person who is better than you in some area. Someone healthier, wiser, more disciplined, more experienced. Imagine how quickly your mindset would rise. Their thinking would rub off on you. Their standards would challenge your comfort. Their advice would shorten your learning curve. You would begin to expect more from yourself, simply because of the environment you created. That is the psychology of influence. We become like the people we spend the most time with. If you want to change your life, change your circle. This doesn't mean you have to cut everyone out of your life, but it does mean you need to decide the role they play. Some people can remain acquaintances, but not advisors. Some people can remain friends, but not daily influence. Some people you may care for deeply, but cannot allow to dominate your mindset. You must set boundaries, because your future is more important than temporary comfort. When you choose the right people, conversations become fuel. They give you ideas you never considered. They remind you of the bigger picture. When you are stuck in the small details, they push you to act. When you are hesitating, they hold you accountable when you drift. That kind of influence is priceless. It doesn't just change your day, it changes your destiny. But none of this happens by accident. You must decide. You must pick who you talk with intentionally. If you don't, you will fall into whatever group happens to surround you. And usually that group is not aiming high. Most people settle for average. Most people complain more than they act. If you in them, you will mirror them. And years later, you will wonder why nothing changed. The answer will be simple. You chose the wrong voices. Your mindset must be built every single day. It is not permanent. You cannot expect yesterday's motivation to carry you today. You must feed it again. You must choose again. And the people you talk to are part of that food. So is the content you consume. Books, podcasts, videos, and articles are voices too. They influence you as strongly as face-to-face conversation. If you fill your free moments with wisdom, knowledge, and inspiration, your mind becomes sharper. If you fill them with gossip, negativity, or trash, your mind becomes dull. At the end of the day, the rule is simple. If you want a stronger mindset, surround yourself with stronger voices. If you want to stay weak, surround yourself with weak voices. It's not complicated, but it is demanding, because it requires you to let go of relationships that do not serve your growth. And that is difficult. But remember, you are not rejecting people. You are protecting your future. And if your future matters to you, you will make the hard decision. So every morning, ask yourself, who am I listening to today? Who will I allow to shape my thinking? Will I pick people who inspire, or will I drift toward people who drain? And when you answer that question, your day will follow that decision. Because your mindset is not created by chance. It is created by choice. And that choice is repeated daily, in every conversation, in every interaction, in every voice you let it. Pick who you talk with and decide your mindset daily. This is not a suggestion. It is a necessity if you want to become someone stronger, wiser, and more capable. Protect your attention. Choose carefully. And every day, cast your vote for the mindset that will carry you to the life you truly want. Number 4, choose to save money today and secure your independence tomorrow. This decision is one of the clearest demonstrations of responsibility you will ever make. The way you handle money reveals how seriously you take your future. Most people live as if the money in their pocket is meant to disappear quickly. They chase the latest purchase, the newest distraction, the temporary pleasure. They don't realize that every dollar they spend thoughtlessly is a dollar that could have bought them freedom later. Saving is not about being stingy or living in fear. Saving is about building power. It is about creating options. It is about proving to yourself that you value independence more than temporary satisfaction. When you save, you are telling yourself that tomorrow matters. You are sending a message to your own mind that the future version of you deserves security, dignity, and choice. Think about what it feels like when an emergency comes and you are unprepared. The stress rises, the panic sets in, and you feel trapped because you have nothing to fall back on. That is the price of neglecting saving. Now think about the opposite. Imagine the calm that comes when the unexpected happens, and you know you can handle it. That peace of mind does not come from luck. It comes from the discipline of saving. Independence tomorrow is built with small, consistent actions today. You don't need to save enormous amounts all at once. What matters is the pattern. If you set aside even a small amount each week, you begin to build a habit of control. Over time, those small amounts become something significant. But more important than the number is the identity you are building. You are becoming someone who manages life, not someone who is managed by life. You are becoming someone who decides what to do with money, not someone who is always desperate for the next paycheck. Too many people think saving is only for the wealthy. They believe they must earn more before they can start. But that is a false belief. Saving is not about the size of your income. It is about the strength of your discipline. There are people who earn little and still manage to put something aside. And there are people who earn a lot, but have nothing left at the end of the month, because they let their lifestyle expand faster than their income. It is not how much you make. It is how much you keep. And keeping requires making a choice today to control your desires for the sake of your freedom tomorrow. Every time you spend money on something you don't need, you are voting against your independence. That coffee you buy every day without thinking, that expensive gadget you don't really use, that impulse purchase you regret later, they are all small chains that keep you tied to dependence. Each one of those decisions may feel minor, but they add up and they tell a story about your priority. If your pattern is always consumption, then your future will be filled with struggle. If your pattern is saving, then your future will be filled with opportunity. Money is not just about survival, it is about freedom of choice. When you have savings, you can walk away from a job that disrespects you. When you have savings, you can invest in opportunities without fear. When you have savings, you can take care of the people you love without hesitation. That is independence, and it is only built by the choice to save now. Without that choice, you remain trapped in dependency. Always needing, always chasing, always controlled by circumstances. Saving money is also about respect. Respect for yourself and respect for the work you do. You give hours of your life to earn that paycheck. If you spend it all without thought, you are treating your own effort as if it has no lasting value. But when you save, you honor your work. You say to yourself, I'll not let this effort vanish without building something permanent. That is dignity, and dignity is the foundation of independence. Consider also the emotional strength that saving builds. When you save consistently, you begin to trust yourself. You prove that you can delay gratification, that you can stick to your plan, that you are reliable. That trust builds confidence. Confidence that you can handle life, that you can prepare for the unexpected, that you can provide for yourself without fear. On the other hand, when you live recklessly with money, you weaken your own earth in yourself. Deep down, you know you are not in control. That lack of control breeds anxiety. Saving is not just financial. It is psychological. It creates a sense of stability that nothing else can give. One of the greatest rewards of saving is the chance to invest in your growth. When you have money put aside, you can pay for a course, a mentor, a resource that builds your skills and increases your value. You can use your savings not only protect yourself, but also to multiply your opportunities. That is how independence grows even faster. Without savings, you miss these chances. Opportunities pass you by because you are too busy trying to cover the basics. That is why saving is not optional. It is essential if you want to step into a life of freedom. You must decide today, not someday. If you keep waiting until you earn more, you will never start. If you keep telling yourself that saving will happen later, later will never arrive. The habit must begin now, no matter how small the amount. Each dollar you save is a vote for your independence. Each dollar is proof that you care about your future self. And once you begin, you will notice how the mindset shifts. You stop feeling like a victim of money. You begin to feel like the master of it. That change is powerful, because the way you think about money is the way you think about life. This is not about greed. This is not about hoarding. This is about wisdom. Saving gives you the ability to act on your values instead of being trapped by your needs. It gives you the strength to live on your terms. It gives you the security that emergencies cannot break you. It gives you the foundation to build something lasting. Independence is not about how much you own. It is about how much you control. And the first step to control is save. So when you face a decision today about spending or saving, ask yourself, is this purchase more important than my freedom tomorrow? Is this momentary pleasure worth giving up the independence I want later? If the answer is no, then save it, because that simple choice is shaping your destiny. Choose to save money today and secure your independence tomorrow. Refuse to be trapped in a cycle of dependence. Refuse to live at the mercy of chance. Take control of your financial decisions now. Build the habit of saving. Protect your future. Strengthen your confidence. And when tomorrow comes, you will walk into it with freedom, not fear. You will know that you prepared, you decided, and you built a life of independence by the choices you made today. Number 5. Decide to wake early today and build self-respect inside. This choice may sound simple, but it carries enormous weight. The way you begin your day sets the direction of everything that follows. Waking up early is not only about gaining more hours, it is about proving to yourself that you are in charge of your life. It is about showing discipline when your mind tells you to stay comfortable. It is about building a sense of pride because you did what you said you would do. That pride is the root of self-respect, and self-respect is the foundation of strength. When you wake early, you start with an advantage. While others are still in bed, you are already in motion. You gain a quiet space where distractions have not yet started. In those hours, you can think clearly, plan your day, and get ahead before the noise of the world begins. That calm gives you power. It gives you a chance to focus on what matters most, instead of rushing through the day in reaction mode. And when you control the start, you control the direction. Self-respect grows every time you keep a promise to yourself. If you say you will wake early and you actually do it, you prove to yourself that your word means something. You show that you can be trusted. That trust is not for others. It is for you. Many people struggle with low confidence because they constantly break promises to themselves. They say they will wake up on time, but they hit snooze. They say they will start the day with energy, but they delay. And each time they do this, they weaken the relationship with themselves. They begin to believe they cannot rely on their own decisions. That belief damages self-respect. On the other hand, when you get up early, you feel a sense of victory before the day even begins. You overcame resistance. You chose strength over comfort. That feeling follows you through the day. You carry it into your work, into your relationships, into your choices. It tells you that you are capable of discipline, and discipline in one area spreads into others. Waking early is not just about the morning. It is about setting a tone of reliability that touches everything. There is also a psychological power in claiming the morning. When you wake late, you start behind. You rush through tasks. You feel stressed. You chase the clock. That stress lingers, and it makes you reactive. But when you wake early, you move with intention. You are not reacting. You are directing. That shift changes how you feel about yourself. You no longer feel like life is controlling you. You feel like you are in control of life. That confidence is one of the deepest sources of self-respect. Many people underestimate how damaging it is to ignore the alarm every day. They think it is harmless, but deep down they know they are failing to keep their word. That awareness builds frustration. It makes them feel weak, even if they don't say it out loud. Over time, that pattern erodes their self-image. They stop expecting more from themselves because they have proven they won't deliver. This is why deciding to wake early is more than a habit. It is a declaration. It is a vote for the kind of person you want to be. Waking early also gives you the faith of preparation. You can review your goals, plan your schedule, and start tasks before distractions arrive. You can exercise and build energy. You can read and feed your mind. You can reflect and strengthen your focus. All of these activities create a stronger version of you. If you wait until later, the day often takes over. Other people's demands steal your attention. Urgent problems push aside important priorities. By then, it is too late. But if you start early, you build an anand that cannot be taken from you. It is not about comparing yourself to others. It is about comparing yourself to who you were yesterday. If yesterday you slept in and felt guilty, then today you have a chance to do better. If yesterday you wasted the morning, today you can reclaim it. Each time you win that battle, you reinforce the belief that you can grow. That belief is the essence of self-respect. Because self-respect is not built by words, it is built by actions repeated consistently. Waking early does not mean you must sacrifice rest. It means you must manage your evenings with discipline. Go to bed on time, protect your sleep, and rise with energy. This is about structure, not punishment. You take charge of your night. You take charge of your morning. And when your morning is strong, the rest of your day is stronger. That cycle is how you build momentum. You also discover that the early hours are sacred. They belong to you. The phone is quiet. The world is silent. There are no you. In that stillness, you can focus on yourself without interference. You can set your intentions clearly. You can strengthen your mind before the challenges of the day arrive. That solitude is not empty. It is powerful. It creates space for growth that cannot be found in the chaos of the afternoon. The respect you build by waking early is not just internal. Others notice it too. People respect those who respect themselves. When you consistently wake early, you demonstrate discipline. You show that you value time. You show that you take life seriously. That impression influences how others treat you. They see you as reliable, committed, and intentional. And the world responds to those qualities. Opportunities open, trust deepens, and influence grows. But the most important respect is the one you feel inside. When you look at yourself and know that you did not give in to weakness, you feel proud. That pride is not arrogance. It is integrity. It is the knowledge that you lived in alignment with your decisions. It is the satisfaction of being able to trust yourself, and that trust is priceless. It cannot be bought. It can only be earned by consistent choices, starting with the simple decision to wake early. Some people wait until their life falls apart before they realize the value of discipline. They ignore the small habits until the consequences pile up. But you do not need to wait. You can begin now. You can decide today to start building self-respect. One morning at a time. It may feel difficult at first. The comfort of the bed will tempt you. But with each day you rise early, the habit grows stronger. Eventually it becomes part of your identity. You no longer debate with yourself. You simply do it. And every time you do, you strengthen the foundation of who you are. Decide to wake early today and build self-respect inside. Do it not for others, but yourself. Do it to prove that you can rely on your own work. Do it to begin the day with strength instead of weakness. Do it to create a life directed by choice instead of controlled by comfort. When you make this decision, you begin a chain of victories that extend far beyond the morning. You build a character that cannot be shaken. And when you look back, you will know that it started with one simple choice. The choice to rise early and respect yourself enough to take control of your life. Number 6, choose learning every night and expand who you will become. The evening hours are a test of character. After the workday is over and the responsibilities are handled, what you choose to do with those quiet hours says more about your future than almost anything else. Many people waste that time with distractions that add nothing to their growth. They let the television run. They scroll endlessly on their phones. They drift into meaningless activities. At the end of the night, they are no better than they were when the day began. That pattern, repeated for years, creates a future of regret. But if you decide every night to use those hours for learning, you transform your life. Those hours become the foundation of knowledge, discipline, and confidence. They build a version of you that is more capable, more intelligent, and more prepared for opportunities. Every night offers a choice between stagnation and growth. Learning does not need to mean studying complex theories or chasing academic achievement. It can be as simple as reading a book that sharpens your perspective, listening to an audio lesson that expands your skills, writing down reflections that bring clarity, or studying the life of someone who achieved what you desire. What matters is that you are feeding your mind something that elevates you beyond where you are today. Even half an hour of meaningful learning before sleep accumulates into hundreds of hours over the course of a year. That time compounds into wisdom, and wisdom changes everything. The reason nightly learning is so powerful is that it shifts your identity. You start to see yourself as someone who invests in growth. That identity builds pride. It makes you feel valuable because you are proving that you care enough about your future to prepare for it. Most people hope their future will improve by luck. They wish for better opportunities, higher income, stronger confidence. But hope without preparation is empty. By choosing to learn nightly, you are making preparation a habit. You are casting a daily vote for the person you want to become. There is also a psychological effect that comes from closing the day with learning. When you end your night by feeding your mind, you carry those thoughts into your sleep. Your subconscious continues to process the idea. You wake up with new insights, fresh clarity, and sometimes even solutions to problems you faced. It is not just about knowledge. It is about training your mind to stay active and creative even while you rest. That habit can give you an advantage that others never experience. They spend their nights numbing themselves instead of sharpening themselves. Learning at night builds resilience. The day often takes energy out of you. Work is demanding, responsibilities are draining, and distractions compete for attention. If you still choose to sit down and study, you are strengthening your willpower. You are training your mind to focus even when you are tired. That discipline translates into every area of your life. It proves you are serious about your own growth, not just when it is convenient, but when it is difficult. That kind of consistency builds unshakable confidence. Your choice to learn nightly also protects you from decline. Minds that are not challenged grow weaker. Skills that are not sharpened become dull. If you won your days without learning, you risk becoming stagnant. But by investing nightly, you keep your mind alive, flexible, and expanding. You position yourself ahead of others who are standing still. The world is always changing, and those who fail to keep learning are quickly left behind. By dedicating your evenings to growth, you ensure that you stay relevant, adaptable, and prepared for new opportunities. Think about what it feels like when you master something new. Maybe you understand a topic that once confused you. Maybe you develop a skill you once thought was beyond you. That feeling of progress is one of the greatest sources of motivation. Nightly learning gives you that progress regularly. It gets you engaged with your own development instead of passively drifting through life. It keeps you hungry for improvement instead of settling for mediocrity. This habit also builds long-term independence. When you learn, you gain tools that no one can take away. Money can be lost. Possessions can disappear. Circumstances can change. But the skills and knowledge you gain remain with you. They become part of who you are. They make you valuable in any environment. They give you the confidence to face challenges because you know you are equipped. That independence is worth far more than temporary entertainment. The evening is the perfect time for this commitment because the noise of the day has quieted. You can focus without interruption. You can reflect on what you learned during the day and then add to it with deliberate study. Those hours belong to you. You can let them slip away, or you can claim them as the most valuable time of your growth. The choice is yours every night. Some people argue that they are too tired to learn at night, but the truth is, learning can be energized. Reading an inspiring book or listening to a powerful lesson can give you energy you did not expect. It can remind you why you are working, why you are striving, why you must stay disciplined. Instead of draining you, it can lift you. And even if you are tired, the act of pushing yourself to engage builds strength. It trains you not to be controlled by excuses. The difference between those who choose learning nightly and those who do not becomes clear over time. At first, there may be no visible change, but months later, one person has sharper ideas, stronger confidence, better opportunities, and more respect. The other remains the same, frustrated by lack of progress. That difference is not created by luck. It is created by the decision made each night. When you look at successful people, you will see a pattern. They are always learning. They use every available moment to improve themselves. They understand that growth is not a one-time event, but a continuous process. That is why they stay ahead. They do not waste the evening. They treat them as a gift. If you want to follow their path, you must do the same. So when the evening comes and you are faced with the choice, remember what is at stake. You can waste the time and remain the same, or you can invest it and become more. Choose learning every night. Open the book. Study the subject. Reflect on your day. Write down your lessons. Train your mind. These actions will expand you beyond your current limits. They will build the person you want to be. Choose learning every night and expand who you will become. Do not let the hours slip away into emptiness. Claim them. Use them. Let them define you as someone who is serious about growth. Each night is a new chance to build yourself. Take it, because the future you are becoming will thank you for the decision you made when the world was quiet and only you were watching. Number 7. Decide how you treat people and shape your own character. Nothing reveals who you are more clearly than the way you deal with others. Titles, possessions, and achievements may impress the world for a moment, but how you treat people leaves the lasting mark. Every interaction is a reflection of your values. When you decide to treat people with respect, honesty, and fairness, you are not just influencing them, you are shaping yourself. Each word, each action, each choice builds or damages your character. And character is the foundation of everything else in life. Your treatment of others is a mirror of your inner strength. If you lash out easily, speak harshly, or act selfishly, you reveal that you are still controlled by weakness. If you are patient, thoughtful, and consistent, you prove that you are in command of yourself. The world is filled with people who are quick to demand respect, but slow to give it. They do not realize that the way you treat people eventually circles back to you. What you give out has a way of returning, not in some mystical way, but in practical reality. If you are honest, people will trust you. If you are consistent, people will rely on you. If you are generous, people will support you. But if you mistreat others, that reputation will follow you, and doors will close. The choice is yours every day. You decide how to greet the stranger who crosses your path. You decide how to respond to the colleague who frustrates you. You decide how to treat those who cannot offer you anything in return. Each of these decisions shapes your identity. Many people act differently, depending on who they are dealing with. They show kindness to those above them, but treat those below them with disrespect. That inconsistency is weakness. It shows that their character is shallow, built only on convenience. Real character is shown in the moments when you could ignore, dismiss, or mistreat someone, but instead choose dignity. Think about the people who made the strongest impression on you. Chances are it was not because of their wealth or power. It was because of how they treated you. Maybe it was a teacher who encouraged you, a friend who listened when you were struggling, or a leader who took the time to guide you. Those moments stay in your memory because they touched you deeply. You have the same power. Every day you can give others the gift of dignity. Every day you can make someone feel valued. And every time you do, you are shaping a character that stands taller. Your treatment of people also reveals your discipline. It is easy to treat people well when they treat you well. The test comes when they are rude, unfair, or disrespectful. Your reaction in those moments shows who you really are. If you let anger control you, you give away your power. If you stay composed and respond with strength, you prove your maturity. That control builds pride in yourself. You walk away knowing that you did not let someone else's weakness dictate your behavior. That is character. Choosing your actions based on your values, not based on the behavior of others. Deciding how you treat people is also about consistency. Anyone can be kind once. Anyone can show respect when it benefits them. But character is built by repetition. If you treat people with respect every day, regardless of circumstances, it becomes who you are. It becomes automatic. People will know what to expect from you. They will trust that you are steady. That trust is one of the most valuable assets you can have. It opens opportunities, strengthens relationships, and builds a reputation that lasts longer than any title or achievement. Many underestimate the power of small actions. A simple word of encouragement, a moment of patience, or a genuine thank you can change someone's day. You may not remember it years later, but they will. Those small choices add up, not only in their life, but in yours. Every time you act with kindness, you reinforce in your own mind that you are a person of value. That repetition builds confidence. Confidence not based on ego, but based on integrity. The way you treat people also teaches you discipline with your emotions. It is tempting to react quickly, to snap back when provoked, to speak carelessly. But when you pause and choose your response, you are practicing control. That control strengthens your mind. It proves that you are not a prisoner of your impulses. Over time, this self-control extends to other areas of life. Your work, your habits, your goals. By learning to treat people well, you are learning to govern yourself. There will always be those who test you. Some will criticize unfairly. Some will lie. Some will try to take advantage of your patience. But remember, their actions do not excuse your weakness. You cannot control their choices, but you can control yours. And your choices shape your character. You can walk away knowing you acted with dignity, even if they did not. That peace is worth more than winning an argument. It is the quiet strength of knowing you lived by your values. Deciding how you treat people also protects you from regret. Many people look back and wish they had been more patient, more present, more respectful. They realize too late that their words cause damage that cannot be repaired. But you can avoid that regret by choosing today to treat people as you would want to be treated. That simple decision can save you years of guilt and strengthen your relationships for a lifetime. Your character is not defined by what you say about yourself. It is defined by how you act when no one is watching. It is defined by how you treat people who cannot benefit you. It is defined by how you respond under pressure. That is why this decision is so powerful. Each time you choose respect, honesty, and fairness, you build a foundation that no failure can destroy. Each time you choose impatience, dishonesty, or cruelty, you weaken that foundation. Over time, the difference is obvious. So make the decision clearly and firmly. Decide that you will treat people with dignity no matter the situation. Decide that you will not lower your standards because of someone else's behavior. Decide that you will build a character that is steady, reliable, and respected. This decision may not bring instant rewards, but over time it will create a life of trust, respect, and strength. Decide how you treat people and shape your own character. This is not a task for tomorrow. It is a choice for today. The next conversation you have, the next stranger you meet, the next disagreement you face, each one is a chance to prove who you are becoming. Choose wisely, because your character is your most valuable possession, and it is built one interaction at a time. Number 8. Choose to face discomfort now and grow into strength later. The truth is, most people spend their lives running from discomfort. They avoid the hard conversations, they skip the demanding work, they turn away from anything that stretches them beyond their comfort zone. In the moment, it feels safe. In the long run, it leaves them weak, unprepared, and dependent. Discomfort is not your enemy. Discomfort is the test that reveals what you are capable of. If you choose to face it today, you build a level of strength that cannot be created in any other way. Look at the moments in your own life when you felt proudest of yourself. They were not the times when everything was easy. They were the times when you pushed through difficult. Maybe it was finishing a project when you were tired, speaking the truth when it was risky, or sticking to a decision when quitting would have been easier. Those victories came from facing discomfort. That struggle made you feel alive. That effort gave you confidence. That pain made you realize you are stronger than you thought. Without those moments, there is no growth. Avoiding discomfort may give you relief today, but it steals your future. Each time you give in to ease, you weaken your resilience. You teach yourself to escape instead of endure. Over time, your tolerance for challenge shrinks. The smallest obstacle feels overwhelming. The slightest inconvenience makes you quit. That is the cost of avoiding discomfort. It drains your capacity to handle life. On the other hand, every time you embrace discomfort, you expand that capacity. You prove that you can endure. You prove that you can finish. You prove that your feelings do not control you. That proof builds inner power, and that power stays with you. Discomfort shows up in many forms. It is the soreness of exercise, when your body wants to rest. It is the discipline of studying, when your mind wants distraction. It is the courage of speaking up when silence feels safer. It is the decision to save money when spending would feel easier. None of these things are pleasant in the moment, but they create results that last. The body becomes stronger, the mind becomes sharper, the character becomes bolder. Discomfort today turns into strength tomorrow. There is no path to strength without discomfort. You cannot build endurance without effort. You cannot build courage without risk. You cannot build self-respect without sacrifice. This is why the choice matters so much. When you see discomfort, you can either run from it or face it. If you run, you stay the same. If you face it, you grow. Growth is not a mystery. Growth is simply the result of repeatedly choosing to confront discomfort instead of avoiding it. Consider the difference in two people. One always looks for the easy road. They avoid responsibility, skip the hard work, and retreat from challenges. The other deliberately faces discomfort. They wake early, push through fatigue, take on difficult projects, and lean into challenges. Over time, their paths separate completely. The first becomes fragile, unable to handle stress. The second becomes strong, respected, and capable of handling life. The difference was not talent or luck. The difference was how they treated discomfort. When you choose discomfort now, you gain freedom later. The person who avoids discomfort with exercise ends up trapped in a body that limits them. The person who embraces it enjoys energy and health. The one who avoids the discomfort of saving money ends up chained to debt. The one who chooses it builds independence. The one who avoids difficult conversations lives in broken relationships. The one who has them creates trust and respect. Freedom later always comes from discomfort now. That is why you cannot escape it if you want a meaningful life. Strength is built in the hidden moments when no one is watching. When you push yourself to keep going, when you endure the challenge, when you refuse to quit, you are shaping a stronger version of yourself. That strength is not seen immediately, but it becomes obvious over time. You walk differently. You speak differently. You carry yourself differently. People notice, but they don't see the discomfort you went through to earn it. They only see the strength. Discomfort is temporary, but the strength it creates is permanent. That is the exchange you must keep in mind. The soreness of exercise fades, but the health remains. The difficulty of studying ends, but the knowledge stays. The awkwardness of telling the truth passes, but the integrity remains. The sacrifice of saving is short, but the security lasts. Discomfort always ends. Strength always stays. Choosing discomfort also teaches you humility. It reminds you that growth is not instant. It takes patience to push through pain, persistence to stay focused, and humility to admit you need to improve. This humility makes you better. It keeps you grounded. It reminds you that strength is not given. It is earned. And that earning comes only through discomfort. The greatest regret people carry is not that they faced too much discomfort, but that they avoided it. They look back and realize they missed opportunities. They settled for less. They never tested themselves fully. That regret is heavy, but you can avoid it by making the decision now. Each day when you face something uncomfortable, see it as a chance to grow. Instead of escaping, lean into it. Instead of hiding, confront it. Instead of delaying, act on it. Every time you do, you are building a life that will not end in regret. Strength later is not created by accident. It is created by choices in the present. If you want to be confident, capable, respected, and independent, you must decide to face discomfort now. You must choose it when your body says rest, when your mind says quit, when your feelings say wait. You must push anyway. That act of pushing is where transformation happens. So look at the discomfort in front of you today. It might be physical, emotional, or financial. Whatever it is, don't run from it. Step into it. Decide that you would rather be strong tomorrow than comfortable today. Decide that your future self deserves the sacrifice. Decide that you will no longer be controlled by avoidance. When you make that decision consistently, you will notice the change. You will carry yourself with pride because you will know you faced what others refused. And that pride is the deepest form of self-respect. Choose to face discomfort now and grow into strength later. Make the choice when the alarm rings, when the challenge appears, when the temptation to escape is strongest. Because in those moments, your character is forged. And when you keep choosing, day after day, discomfort will no longer feel like an enemy. It will feel like the path that leads to strength, independence, and a life you can truly be proud of. Number 9, decide to finish what you start and build real confidence. Confidence is not built by talking about what you want, or dreaming about what you will do, or making plans you never follow through on. Real confidence is built in the act of completion. When you finish something you begin, no matter how small, you prove to yourself that you can be trusted. That proof is where confidence comes from. It is not about pretending you feel strong. It is about having evidence that you are capable of carrying things through. Without that evidence, your confidence will always be shaky. With it, you walk into life with certainty. Many people sabotage themselves by living in half-completed efforts. They start projects but abandon them halfway. They set goals but never see them through. They speak about what they will achieve, but rarely deliver. Over time, this pattern weakens their belief in themselves. Deep down, they know they quit too easily. They know they can't rely on their own word. And when you can't trust yourself, you can't feel confident. That is why finishing what you start is one of the most powerful decisions you can make. It is not just about the task itself. It is about the relationship you are building with yourself. Every time you complete something, you build a brick of confidence. It could be as simple as finishing a workout you didn't want to do, completing a book you said you would read, or delivering on a promise you gave to someone. Each time you follow through, you strengthen your self-image. You begin to see yourself as someone who does not quit. That identity is priceless. It means that when challenges appear, you no longer hesitate. You already know you can finish. You already know you can endure. That knowledge is the foundation of unshakable confidence. The danger of quitting is not just in the lost opportunity. It is in what it does to your mind. When you leave things unfinished, You carry a weight of guilt. You may try to ignore it, but it lingers. It whispers that you are unreliable. It tells you that you can't trust yourself. That constant voice eats away at your strength. But when you finish, you silence that voice. You replace it with pride. You replace it with proof that you are disciplined. That pride gives you energy, and that energy builds momentum. Momentum creates confidence. Finishing what you start is not about perfection. You don't have to do everything flawlessly. What matters is that you carry it to the end, even if it is difficult, even if it takes longer than you thought, even if you stumble along the way. Finishing gives you something quitting never can. Quitting gives you relief in the moment, but regret in the long run. Finishing gives you discomfort in the moment, but strength in the long run. That is the trade you must be willing to make if you want confidence that lasts. You must also understand that finishing is a habit. Just like quitting becomes easier the more you do it, finishing becomes natural once you practice it. If you make it a rule to complete the tasks you begin, soon it will no longer feel negotiable. You won't waste time debating with yourself. You will simply do it. That habit compounds into a powerful identity. Someone who always follows through. People notice this. They begin to trust you. They rely on you. And when others trust you, your influence grows. But more important than their trust is your own. You trust yourself. That is where real confidence comes from. Think of how children build confidence. It is not from being told they are capable. It is from trying something difficult, sticking with it, and completing it. The same is true for adults. Confidence is not handed to you by others. It is earned by finishing. Each time you push through, you create another memory of success. Those memories pile up and soon you see yourself differently. You don't doubt your ability because you have evidence. That evidence is more powerful than any words. Finishing also sharpens your focus. When you decide to complete something, you eliminate the option of quitting. That mental shift forces you to direct your energy fully. You stop scattering your attention. You stop looking for escape. You stay with the task until it is done. That focus improves not only your performance, but your mental toughness. It trains you to commit fully instead of halfway. And when you carry that into every area of life, you become unstoppable. Confidence is not built overnight. It is built day by day, task by task, finish by finish. If you want to feel certain about yourself, start with the small things. Finish cleaning the room instead of leaving it halfway. Finish the book you started. Finish the workout you planned. Finish the project at work. These small completions stack up. They may seem dramatic, but they are building the foundation of confidence that will carry you into bigger challenges. The world respects those who finish. Anyone can start. Anyone can talk. But the few who finish are the ones who earn credibility. When you finish, people trust your word. They know you deliver. That trust creates opportunities you would never have received otherwise. Finishing what you start doesn't just change how you see yourself. It changes how the world sees you, and that combination is powerful. There will always be excuses available to quit. You will always find reasons to delay or to walk away. But excuses cannot give you confidence. Only completion can. Each time you push past the excuse and finish anyway, you prove that your commitment is stronger than your feelings. That proof builds resilience, and resilience is confidence in action. The knowledge that you can keep going even when it's hard. The decision to finish also protects you from regret. Years from now, you don't want to look back and see a trail of abandoned goals and half-done projects. That regret is heavy, and it cannot be undone. But if you make the decision now to finish what you start, you can look back with pride. You will see a trail of completions, a history of discipline, and a foundation of self-respect. That history will give you confidence, not only in what you have done, but in what you can still do. So decide today. Decide that when you start something, you will finish it. Decide that your word means something. Decide that your confidence will be built on evidence, not empty talk. Each completion is a step towards strength. Each finish is a vote for the person you want to be. And when you add those steps together, you build a life of real confidence. Not fragile confidence that disappears under pressure, but real confidence that stands firm in every challenge. Number 10, choose daily effort today and design the person you admire. Life does not hand you the version of yourself you dream about. It gives you raw material, and what you build with it depends on the effort you put in each day. The person you respect, the person you look up to, the person you secretly want to become will never appear by accident. That person is designed, and the design comes through consistent effort. Not effort once in a while, not effort only when it feels convenient, but effort daily. Each day is a building block, and the way you use it decides the shape of your future self. Daily effort is often underestimated because it looks small. Reading a few pages, exercising for 30 minutes, studying a new skill for an hour, staying consistent with your responsibilities. None of these actions feel dramatic in the moment. But that is the mistake most people make. They want a big transformation without small, repeated work. They want to skip the process and still claim the result. But self-respect cannot be built that way. Confidence cannot be built that way. The person you admire is not a dream. It is the result of hundreds of days where effort was chosen over comfort. When you give your best each day, you accumulate proof. You don't just tell yourself you are disciplined. You show it. You don't just imagine yourself as capable. You demonstrate it through action. Each day's effort adds to a collection of victories, and that collection changes the way you see yourself. You begin to admire the person in the mirror because you know they have earned it. You don't need applause because you carry private evidence of your own discipline. That is where deep self-respect comes from. Ask yourself honestly, who do you admire most in life? Is it someone who talks big but delivers little? Or is it someone who shows up daily, puts in the work, and earns results? It is always the second. And the same principle applies to you. If you want to admire yourself, if you want to respect the life you are building, then you must choose daily effort. Without it, you will always feel a gap between who you are and who you want to be. That gap is filled only by consistency. Daily effort also builds momentum. The first few days may feel slow. You may not see changes immediately. But as the days add up, something powerful begins to happen. The work becomes habit. The discipline becomes part of you. What was once difficult begins to feel natural. That momentum carries you forward, making it easier to keep going. Soon the effort is not just something you do. It becomes who you are. You are the kind of person who gives effort daily. That identity is worth more than any temporary result, because it guarantees growth. You must also realize that the person you admire will not be built in perfect conditions. Some days you will be tired, distracted, or discouraged. Those are the days that matter most. Effort when you feel good is easy. Effort when you feel weak is what shapes character. When you push yourself on those days, you prove that your discipline is stronger than your emotions. That proof makes you unshakable. That is when you start to believe in yourself fully, because you have shown that no excuse is stronger than your commitment. Daily effort is also what separates dreams from reality. Everyone has desires. Everyone wants to be healthier, wealthier, wiser, more respected. But wanting is not enough. Without effort, dreams stay in the imagination. With effort, they turn into result. Each day you put in the work, you pull the dream closer to reality. You may not reach it overnight, but you are moving toward it, and movement is everything. Even slow progress is proof that you are on the right path. Over time, those steps become miles, and those miles become a life you can be proud of. The person you admire is not perfect. They are not without flaws, but they are consistent. They show up. They put in the work whether or not they feel like it. They make the tough choices. They keep promise, and you can become that person if you choose daily effort. The only difference between who you are now and who you admire is the actions you take each day. That gap can be closed if you refuse to waste the time you are given. This choice is urgent. Too many people wait until tomorrow. They think they will work harder when they feel motivated, when they have more energy, when conditions improve. But tomorrow is just another today. And if you cannot choose effort now, you will not choose it later. The person you admire is designed in the present. They are shaped by what you do today, not by what you hope to do someday. That is why the decision must be made now. There is a deep pride that comes from ending a day knowing you gave effort. You may not have finished everything. You may not have reached the final goal, but you know you moved forward. That knowledge lets you sleep peacefully. It gives you confidence when you wake up, because you know you are living with purpose. Contrast that with the regret of wasted days. When you know you could have tried, but didn't, you weaken your spirit. That regret builds over time and turns into disappointment. But effort protects you from that. Effort gives you pride. Effort makes you admire yourself. Choosing daily effort also makes you more valuable to others. When you show up consistently, people trust you. They rely on you. They see you as dependable. Opportunities come to those who prove they can handle responsibility. And responsibility always rewards effort. If you want respect from others, start by respecting yourself enough to put in the work daily. The world recognizes discipline. It may not applaud you instantly, but in time, your results will speak louder than words. The truth is, you already know what you need to do. You know the tasks that will move your life forward. You know the habits that will build the future you want. The challenge is not knowledge. It is consistency. Daily effort is the bridge between what you know and what you live. Without it, knowledge stays in your head. With it, knowledge transforms your life. So make the decision now. Decide that today will not be wasted. Decide that effort is not negotiable. Decide that you will not wait for perfect conditions or sudden motivation. Each action you take today is a brick in the foundation of the person you admire. And when you stack those bricks day after day, eventually you stand tall on a structure of discipline, confidence, and pride. Choose daily effort today and design the person you admire, not through words, not through dreams, but through repeated action. Each day is a chance, each day is a test, and each day, effort is the answer. Make the choice now and keep making it tomorrow, and the day after, until the person you admire is no longer an idea. It is the life you are living. So remember this. Every choice is a vote for who you're becoming. You don't need to wait for a big moment or some perfect opportunity. The votes are happening right now in the small, ordinary decisions of your day. Each time you choose discipline over comfort, respect over carelessness, growth over laziness, you're shaping the person you'll live with tomorrow. If you want a future you're proud of, start casting the right votes today. Don't leave it to chance. Decide the kind of person you want to be and prove it through your actions. Because 5 years from now, you will either thank yourself or blame yourself for the choices you're making right now. If this message spoke to you, don't stop here. Come back. Keep learning and keep growing. Your future self is waiting for you to show up today. Make sure you become the person you truly admire.